Yesterday, many people noticed something unusual. Thousands of nurses were seen gathered in Kilampakkam Bus Terminus. So the obvious questions are, why are the nurses here? What brought all of them to the same place? Why are frontline healthcare workers sitting inside a bus terminus? Let's get into it. This agitation did not start yesterday. It did not start with a hunger strike, and it definitely did not start with anger. During the COVID pandemic, many nurses were appointed by the AIADMK government. Most of them were appointed on contract or consolidated pay. They worked in COVID wards, in ICUs, on night shifts, in emergency care. They worked when hospitals were overflowing, when risk was high, when fear was everywhere. They stood between life and death. Then came the 2021 Assembly election. These nurses were given clear election promises. Election promise number 356 by the DMK government. They were told, you have served during COVID, you stood between life and death, your services will be recognized and regularized. Your jobs will be made permanent. But what happened after the election? Instead of being made permanent, some of these nurses were even removed from service after the pandemic was over. These nurses were doing the same workload as permanent nurses, handling the same patients, working the same night shifts. They were saving lives. But they were paid less, given no job opportunity, denied service benefits, constantly uncertain about their future. They were saving others while worrying about their own survival. For 4 long years, these nurses waited. They did not protest first, they did not block roads, they did not shout slogans. They submitted petitions, they gave representations, they met officials in the health department. They approached the Chief Minister's office through their associations. Their demand was simple. We are doing permanent work, give us permanent jobs. But there was no written assurance, no timeline, no government order, nothing changed. So when nothing changed, they decided to protest peacefully. So yesterday, that is December 18, 2025, under the banner of the Tamilnadu Nurses Development Association, thousands of nurses gathered on Shivananda Road in Chennai and began a hunger strike. Then came the turning point. Around 7:30 p.m., police picked up more than 1,000 nurses and put them into buses. They were not taken to a police station. They were dropped at the Kilampakkam Bus Terminus, as if nothing had happened, as if their voices did not matter, as if their struggle could be easily ignored. But the nurses, they refused to disperse. They sat right there in the Kilampakkam Bus Terminus. They did not go there to protest. They were taken there while asking for promises made to them 4.5 years ago. This is not a sudden agitation. This is years of silence finally breaking. This was an issue that many tried to ignore. But then something changed. TVK leader Adav Arjun went to Kilampakkam bus stop, not for slogans, not for politics, but to listen. For the first time, someone went there to hear the nurses, not to manage them. That is when cameras turned. That is when the public finally saw the tears, the exhaustion, and the anger of these nurses, not as protesters, but as human beings. So what happened after the protest? After that, they were arrested again and moved to a nearby private marriage hall, and more updates are yet to come. So let us be very clear here. This agitation is not about politics. It is not about privilege. It is about job security. It is about dignity. It is about keeping a promise made to frontline workers. You cannot clap for nurses during COVID and silence them after COVID. You cannot call them heroes in crisis and ignore them in peace. This protest did not happen because nurses are unreasonable. It happened because promises were delayed, answers were avoided, patience was exhausted. Supporting these nurses is not opposing the government. It is supporting fairness. Because when nurses feel secure, patients are safer. When those who save lives are forced to beg for dignity, this is a failure we all must acknowledge. This is not a sudden agitation. This is 4 years of silence speaking out. And the question now is simple. Will the system finally listen to them? Let us amplify their voices because they stood alone for too long. For every voice that's been ignored, we are here. Tune in and subscribe to Fireline Media to hear stories that deserve to be heard.